what's up? It's Wick for WickieMedia, and today we're talking about studio roles. So we're gonna take a look at the differences between a producer and an audio engineer. The last 20 or 30 years, a lot has changed in the studio, and we're gonna be taking a look at the traditional roles of a producer and an audio engineer, and then we're gonna take a look at how this translates to the modern producer. A producer oversees the overall production process. He usually gets his projects from the record label. In many cases, the producer is also responsible for the budget of an album. This budget gets decided by or approved by the record label. But a producer can also be heavily involved in the creative side of things. He then looks at the songs that the band already has for the project, and he can decide if they need more music or more lyrics, and he can even have a direct influence on the song. So the producer then can have influence on the song structure, on the key, on the tempo, and sometimes even on the lyrics. So many producers have got a great musical background and knowledge. In many cases, the producer is also responsible for planning the rehearsal sessions and the recording sessions. In many cases, the producer can also decide in which studio he wants to work and how many days that the studio needs to be booked. A good producer is always present during the rehearsal sessions where he can still have some influence on the song or maybe lyrics or the way that something is sang. The producer is always present during the recording sessions in the studio. A good producer always has a great ear for songs, structure, and mixes, and sounds in general. He also knows how things should sound in his opinion and how to create that sound. The good producers know a lot about audio equipment and how to use it. He knows exactly which compressor he wants on which vocal to create a certain sound, and in many cases the producer is able to perform the mix himself. So let's take a look at how the audio engineer comes into play here. An audio engineer usually works for a studio and he knows all the ins and outs of the studio, literally. An audio engineer knows which gear there is, which microphones, how many cables, how the patch bay works. He knows everything inside the studio. He can also be the one plugging in the microphones, doing the microphone checks and setting up the tape machine. In many cases, the audio engineer operates all the gear, the console, and he operates the record button. In some cases, he directly performs all the tasks for the producer, so then the producer asks him to, can you lower the fader on channel 13? Insert the LA2A on track 5. So he's really hands-on doing the task for the producer the way that the producer hears it. And even though there are still a lot of studios working like this, a lot has changed in the last 20 years. We've seen a huge growth in home studios due to MIDI equipment and synthesizers, allowing people to actually produce and record music from their home studio. So a producer nowadays can actually be a one-man army, and he often can be the artist, the producer, the audio engineer, the designer, the promoter, and he can independently release his records, so he doesn't even need a record label. He can work from his own home studio or small project studios, and he can even compete with the high quality of high-end production facilities. Nowadays we've got great audio interfaces with really good analog to digital conversion, and we've got high-end equipment available which normally was only available to really big studios. I hope I could clarify the differences between an audio engineer and a producer a little bit for you guys today. If you got any questions, you can always post them down here. And you guys should be checking out Dave Grohl's Sound City documentary, which is really going in depth about what I just told. And you should definitely be checking out some more of my tutorials right here on YouTube. So this was it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. Peace!